Well, I have had the pleasure of speaking with Andrea today, and I feel like I have learned so much. So if you're listening today, please know that she's a resource for you. She's super local and super knowledgeable about what you should think about and plan for, and is here to help.
Well, and let's offer this. If you are watching this video and you want to have a consult with me, go to bricklaw.com and schedule a consult. Indicate you saw me on Weiss Connect, and I will waive the consult fee.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Why don't you start with telling me a little bit about yourself personally? Where did you grow up?
Okay.
And
because that feeds directly into why I'm an estate planning attorney, if you can believe it. So I grew up in Iowa, and my mom, I'm a library girl, and so my parents would, if I got in trouble, they would threaten to take away my library card, right?
Whoa.
And so I grew up on Jane Austen novels, right? Emily Bronte, Jane Austen, like I can't go see the new Wuthering Heights. But I was always, as this little girl in the 70s in Iowa, thinking, what's an entail? And why can't she inherit the house? And, you know, very Downton Abbey, why does she have to marry the first male heir? And so never intended to be a lawyer. And so I still didn't think I was going to have a practice in this. I just really liked it.
And how many years do you have the practice for?
I've had in this practice 5.5 years, because part of my master plan was I'll work in the corporate world while my kids are getting older, and when they hit 7th grade, I will open my firm working out of my house. I'll have a co-working space. I'll make house calls, and that's exactly what's happening.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. But here's the other piece. So I'm married to a first responder, and we were in law school during 9/11. And it was appalling to learn that of the 480 first responders killed in 9/11, less than a handful had any type of estate plan. So what we saw was this great movement of people coming out to make sure first responders had estate plans. The tricky part was those people doing that work couldn't give advice. There was no counsel. There was no advice. It was, do you want A or B? Right? Oh, you have a choice, A or B. Right? Do you want this or do you want this? Without any counsel about how does that really work. So my then boyfriend, now husband, had a healthcare power of attorney with something known as a springing clause. And when he was injured, we didn't have time to address the springing clause. And so the hospital and doctors went straight to what the statute says, which overrides the document if you can't make the document work. And so they ended up calling for advice on what do we do here with this guy. I'm standing in the hospital. I have no standing because the power of attorney doesn't work because it had a springing clause. And so they're calling people he doesn't want making their decisions. And that was it. I was like, this is not okay, right? It's no offense, LegalZoom and Mama Bear Legal Forms and willsandtrust.com. Like maybe there's a place for you, but not if I can give these people counsel, right? Let's talk about what really happens on the backside. So now I'm here.
Well, you have absolutely answered the question of why are you doing this work?
Yes, that's totally why I'm doing this work.
That's
right. Right. Just this morning I was on the phone with a lady who had a well-done, complete estate plan. I don't often say that, right? But I'm looking at her documents and I said, this was well done. Why don't you go back to that attorney and ask him to amend it for you? And she said, because he's never explained anything like you did, right? He gave me the documents. Don't you think I should have heard from him in 10 years? And I said, well, I am my own boss. I run my practice my way because, like you, I want to have that relationship. I want to make sure that you're ready for any accident that happens. Because estate planning is not just about what happens after you die. Only on television is a will enough. Only. We have a lot to talk about during your lifetime. What happens if there's an accident? How do we access X, Y, or Z? How do we take care of you? And so she's going to work with me instead of going back to the guy that did it before, right? Because she'll get a whole health look at. For me personally, this was one of the hardest things to do. Like when I was creating my estate plan when I was 25 and I didn't have anybody out here, and I was handed this thick packet of paper, and it was so overwhelming, I just threw it in the garbage can. And the only person I had in my life was an English bulldog, and I thought, I don't know, I'll wing it, which is terrible. Wouldn't it have been nice if I had had somebody I could have called and felt like I don't have to come up with $500, I can just ask you a question. And so I do that online, but I have some clients who like it on paper. It's set up in such a way that you can answer those questions in 20 minutes if you've got your phone in front of you, right? Like the easy stuff. And when they hit a hurdle, I'm there to ask questions, right? Because my job is to get you past all the hurdles. And so sometimes we have extra calls to figure that stuff out. Sometimes people are slow, sometimes they're fast. We always have a draft review meeting. And I want to tell you about this because for anyone who's listening, if they've already had an estate plan and they think, I don't really go through the drafts with my attorney, I don't really know what they say. That is at least a 90-minute sit down together where we go through page by page, because it's important to me that you understand what it is you're buying and how it's going to be used. And then we sign. The signing is easy. Even though some people will say, I'm signing more pages than I did when I bought my house. I'm like, yes, but the font is bigger. And, like, here's a cookie, right? We're going to be fine. You're going to make it. But then the next thing happens. I have to tell you, it's really important. Depending on what you've done with that estate plan, what's been created, there might still be after signing activities to do. And like the woman I spoke to this morning, I'm not just throwing you back out to the wolves. We're on it till it's done. You're going to hear from me. I'm there to assist you. I will answer questions. You have to do the legwork, but if you need to know who's the beneficiary, I will tell you it's you. Like we'll go through those next pieces to make sure that you have a to-go box, you know where to store this, the people in your life know where it is, and you're ready to hit $495, right?
Can you, in a few words, describe what goals or hopes the people that are putting together an estate plan with you have in their minds?
Okay, so first of all, I think we've already proven I can't do anything in a few words. I'll just be honest. Let me start with this by saying what I want for people is that when they're done, they feel a sense of relief. Phew! We did it. That's awesome. Let's move on and fly to Europe, right? I want them to feel good and secure. It's always new and it's always different, and I love that. So.
I am enjoying hearing about how much you enjoy your work.
I do. I really do. I think people need to realize that estate planning is for everyone over the age of 18. Everybody. What you need might differ, but the fact remains, if you're over 18 and you're wearing clothes, we need to talk. And only on television is a will enough. Right? I just saw a new show where they sat down and did a reading of the will. And I'm like, it doesn't happen that way, right? With all the fraud and crime we have in the world today, you can't just walk into a bank and say, but I'm his wife. It doesn't work like that anymore. So what do you need to make it work smoothly? That's why you talk with an estate planning attorney.